Yo boys, Toot My Horn here, and what I present in front of you could possibly be the most coveted diamond coin in Counter-Strike history. Because of the Major expanding to 32 teams, and the first round consisting of goofball plumbers like Genghis Warriors and Legacy, getting to the stage where you just pick ZywOo and move on might be hard to do flawlessly. But have no fear, because today, I'll show you the foolproof plan to getting past the first stage like it's nothing. Alright, so before I start off, I'm just going to throw up an image of the first round matchups of the first stage, just so you can get a better gauge of what your 3-0 and 0-3 picks might look like. Now, granted, obviously there's a lot more that goes into play than the first round matchups, but this will give you a good idea, especially if maybe the first round matchup looks like a 50-50, maybe stay away from one of those teams. So starting off with the 3-0 teams, just because I think there's a couple that are a cut above the competition, I'm just going to take Heroic and Complexity. Now, one point being, both these two teams are both the highest seeds in the tournament, so there's absolutely zero chance that either team can match up against each other, but also just for the fact that Heroic has shown really good results as soon as just this last tournament before the Major itself. They went up against FaZe Clan, they went up against Falcons, and actually gave them a pretty good run for their money. Complexity, on the other hand, hasn't had as good of a run in recent memory, even without their bald-headed Elige, but they're still a cut above the competition just due to their LAN experience. Which is one of the takeaways for this tournament, just because a lot of these teams haven't had any LAN experience at all with their current rosters. Moving on to the 0-3 picks, I'm going to play pretty safe. I don't think Legacy is going to do too much in this event, as well as NRG. For Legacy, they weren't even supposed to be at this tournament at all. The only reason why they were able to qualify is because Bestia was having visa issues, and unlike Gamer Legion, which this happened with back at the Copenhagen Major, they're coming from the Brazilian qualifier. So Gamer Legion was a bit of a different circumstance considering the Europe qualifier is pretty stacked, but if you're not even able to make it through in the Brazilian qualifier, then this is probably the most fraud team here. And right next to them in the fraud category, I got NRG, just simply because you've got a washed up OC trying to navigate the ship, a Nitro that's flipped back and forth between Counter-Strike multiple times. This team just isn't built for this. They could easily steal a map off of a team and not end up going 0-3, but honestly this is just more of a pick for me to be happy than anything else. Moving on to the other teams I think will advance, I think BetBoom's got a pretty good chance at just finding a nice 3-1, 3-2 cushion and just riding along with it. They've got the likes of Axile and Boombla, which have a lot of experience compared to a lot of the other teams here. Same can be said for Wildcard. They've got a roster that actually has LAN experience. They went to the last Shanghai Major and had decent results, didn't get absolutely blown out of the water, so I believe that they'll have no problem with the competition at this stage. Other teams that I think will just slide on through, I think Tyloo should be able to take care of business in this first stage, as well as keeping my social credit score up. Next team I see having no problem sliding through is just Bait. They remind me of Monty from a couple years ago in terms of just having a solid roster that shouldn't have any issues at this stage. And for the next two picks, I've got FlyQuest going through just simply because we still need a team to go 0-3 in the next stage, and they really don't like doing that early on in these tournaments, so I'm going to take them to at least qualify for this round and then probably get swept in the next stage. And finally, just to keep Brazil off my back, I think Imperial is going to find a spot just to make sure that we have some kind of Brazilian loyalty and viewership still at this tournament. Anyways, boys, these are the picks I'm going for in the first stage. Be sure to come back to this video once I get a single pick wrong while you flaunt your bronze coin. Toot my horn, out.